Hi guys, and welcome to your first pick a card for the month of July. So today's topic is of course one of the poll winners. This is actually the one that got the most votes, and it's where should you focus your energy in order to achieve your goals. So we'll start off this reading by getting a look at your progress, so where you're at in the realization of your goals. And then I kind of want to approach this where should you focus your energy question from a 3D angle as well as from a more spiritual angle. So in addition to seeing what concrete actions you can take, I also want to take a look at like maybe there's healing that needs to be done or a certain mindset that your spirit guides would like you to embody that's going to help you achieve your goals. So we'll kind of look at that from both angles. So there are 4 readings for you guys to choose from today, and each reading is going to be using a different deck. I have the Ace of Wands out in each deck so that you guys can get an idea of what the artwork looks like. And I chose this card because it's all about inspiration and exciting new beginnings, and that is what we want for you guys. So I'm also going to show you the back of the deck because you might be drawn to that artwork as well. So without further ado, I will show you each of them one by one, and then please pick whichever one you feel drawn to the most. Number 1 is the Starchild Tarot. Number 2 is the Rider-Waite Tarot. Number 3 is the Moonchild Tarot. And number 4 is the Mystical Manga Tarot. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones, so if you guys chose the Starchild Tarot deck, this is going to be your reading all about where you should focus your energy in order to achieve your goals. Just before we get into it, I did want to apologize in advance just in case you guys hear any noise in the background. I'm currently in quarantine in a hotel, so sometimes you can hear like some noises from the other rooms through the walls, so I apologize if that happens. But yeah, let's get right into it. So I want to start off with a few oracle cards, and these will be messages from your spirit guides about the nature of your goals, about where you're at in terms of progress towards your goals, and we'll also see if there's any advice that they would like to give to you to start off. And then when we get into the tarot, we will take a look more specifically at what actions you can take in the 3D, so what concrete actions can you take in order to move towards your goals, and then we will also look at it from a more spiritual angle. What can you do spiritually to help achieve your goals? Yes, so to start off, we have endurance. Oop. Trust. And fire. Okay, so starting off with this endurance card, when I see endurance, I think of perseverance, I think of patience, I think of resilience. So right away, your spirit guides are showing me that this is the nature of your goal. Whatever it is that you guys are trying to achieve, it does require for you to work hard and to be very patient and to push through adversities. Any of you who were thinking that there's some delays in your goals because something has gone wrong, or if it was meant for you, it shouldn't be difficult, I am feeling like that is not the case. In fact, I do think this goal that your soul has chosen for your life was to teach you this very quality, was to teach you endurance and patience. So just something to remember as you work towards your goals. If you find that it's taking quite a bit of time or you're coming up on a lot of obstacles, it's because it's meant to be that way. So that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. That doesn't mean you are on the wrong path. It's an opportunity for you to learn this quality of endurance. Now I am noticing that there are many eyes and many hands here that are holding up the earth. So there may be a message here about you guys working together with a group of people. This might be something that will help you achieve your goals, whether that is collaborating with other individuals or even with a group or an organization, finding a business partner if that applies to you, or this could also be just finding a group of like-minded people to support you and to hold you accountable. So even if you're not directly working together, being around patient and hardworking, determined and disciplined people could help to get you in that energy. Kind of like having a study buddy, for example, or like an accountability group, having a community that will help lift you up and push you through these hard times. And also so that you feel less alone. If you guys are going through this alone and not really sharing your experience with many people, you might be feeling like maybe it's just me who has to work this hard, or maybe it's just me who feels like they're having to wait and feels like their dreams aren't coming. Am I doing something wrong? And if you open up to a community around you who has similar goals, maybe you'll find that they have a lot of the same struggles as you. Like, you're not crazy, you're not alone, you're not doing anything wrong. This journey is not meant to be easy, and that's why it's so rewarding. So your guides really don't want you to isolate as you work towards your goals. Don't go through it by yourself. Don't keep your feelings to yourself. Open up about where you're at and how you're feeling, and you'll realize that the situation you're in is natural, it's normal, it's common. A lot of people can relate to you, and you guys can uplift each other, whether that's just cheering each other on from the sidelines or you are directly working together. Community and togetherness is going to help you a lot to keep your morale, I think is the word, to keep your morale up as you work towards your goals. So remember, if it's taking some time, if it's difficult, it's meant to be that way. You're going to come out very strong in the end and very, very proud of yourself. We do have the message of trust next to this card as well. So maybe this is more of a spiritual message for you guys, to trust in the process and to trust your divine plan. Your guides are not going to leave you alone with this one, and they're going to make sure that you are always on the right path. So believing in yourself and believing that you have been led in the right direction by your soul. I'm noticing that there is a heart on this card, and there's also 2 hearts here, and these hands are actually pink and green, which are the colors of the heart chakra. So what I'm seeing here is that your heart and your passion with this fire card are never going to lead you astray. Listening to your heart is going to be like the key to your success, and it's going to be what gets you over these tough mountains. And with this fire card here as well, I feel like for you guys, passion and a love for what you do is so important to achieving your goals. Like, to keep that inspiration, to keep that motivation, you guys really need to be loving what you're doing. So if you guys are finding that this journey is really hard, well, you may want to ask yourself, like, is my passion really there? Is my passion still there? Do I really love what I'm doing? Is my heart in it? I feel like for most of you, this is really something that you love, that you're working towards, but sometimes when the journey is tough, it can kind of put a damper on that passion. So something that you can do to help as you move towards your goals is like actively trying to bring that spark back. The same way a fire needs more kindling, like if you have a bonfire or something, if you just leave it, eventually it will burn out. You need to keep putting logs or crumpled up paper or something to keep feeding that fire. And it's the same thing with your drive and your passion. So if you find that that is running out, maybe remind yourself of why you are doing this, or look around, consume things that inspire you, look around at people that you look up to and where they are. Maybe listening to somebody's success story is going to help to like feed that spark, or so that the fire doesn't burn out. It would be wonderful if our passion just keeps burning and burning naturally, but sometimes we need to give it a little kickstart to get us off our butts and to keep going. So feeding your passion actively is going to be really, really important for you guys as well. So just to recap everything here, you are learning patience and endurance during this journey. There's nothing wrong. If you are finding that it's taking quite some time and it's difficult, that means you are on the right path, because that's what your soul wanted to learn. Having a community or an accountability group or people you can open up and share with is going to make you feel less alone. Trusting in the divine plan will be very, very important. Always making decisions from your heart, and making sure that you keep a healthy fire burning underneath your passion. So let's look at the next two oracle cards that we have here. So the first one, this says, spit out the poison in your heart. And this one says, you are coming out of the darkness and into a new world. Wow. So both of these have this message of clearing away negativity. There's like you're spitting out poison. It's like an energetic purge. This one talks about coming out of the darkness. So it looks like there is some negativity that you guys need to clear away in order to move forward here. Maybe you guys are dealing with low confidence or low self-esteem, or maybe self-belief is a better word. Maybe you're dealing with a lot of doubts, you're dealing with a lot of discouragement when it comes to your goals. And this could be because you've had to endure a lot, because it's taken a long time, because there's been many obstacles. It's hard to keep up the faith. It's hard to keep your hopes up. Maybe this fire of passion is dying out because there is some negativity within you that needs to be addressed. So paying attention to your negative thoughts and paying attention to your doubts is also going to be very important. When it comes to dealing with negativity, especially in the manifestation community, I found that there's like two main ways that people suggest to deal with it. One of them is to like monitor your thoughts, and the second you feel yourself having a negative thought, you like flip a switch and you say, no, we're not thinking that, and you shift it to a positive one. That's one way. Another way is when you create space for that negative thought, you let it exist, you sit with it, and you go within and find the root of it. That's more of like a shadow worky way of dealing with it, I guess. I don't think that there's a right or wrong way to do it, but I personally would lean more towards the shadow work path, where you create space for the negative thought. You can talk to it, ask it why it's there, let it know that it's okay to exist, and see if you can find the root of it and heal the version of you that adopted that negative thought. You could try out both. Like you could try just the flipping the switch method at first. Like, no, we're not having that negative thought. We're going to switch to a positive one. Because a lot of the time it can just be a habit that you're in, where if you retrain yourself, you can adapt a more positive way of thinking. But if you find that that's not really working, or if it doesn't feel genuine, like you really feel like you're lying to yourself by trying to change to the positive thing, maybe you do want to consider doing some shadow work and figure out where these negative beliefs come from. Who were you? Where were you when you had this thought for the first time, and what caused it? Because it can often be because of some wound that hasn't been healed, some unresolved trauma that we have to go back and heal. So you may feel called to do that. This card does seem to be suggesting that there is some like toxicity within you guys that needs to be purged. So this could be, yeah, some painful unhealed wound to be dealt with. But I see here that you guys are going to come out on the other side and come out into the light. So yeah, this is more of a spiritual one, I think, healing negativity within you. This is going to help you to achieve your goals, and to stay passionate and motivated even when it gets hard, because you trust and you believe that all of this is happening for a reason and that you're going to make it out. All right, so let's move on to the tarot part of this reading. These thick decks are so hard to shuffle, and this one is pretty new. I just got it like a couple weeks ago, I think, so it's still pretty, what would you call it? Stiff, I guess? But she's so beautiful. You guys are probably gonna see this one a lot in my future videos. I'm absolutely in love with it. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna see here is what actions can you take in the 3D? So what concrete actions could you take in order to move towards your goals? What actions can you take in the 3D in order to achieve your goals? And I'll take, I'll take two here. So for one, we have the High Priestess. Interesting. And the Three of Wands. All right, so with the High Priestess here, this is interesting. This is like divine feminine energy. This is an energy of receptiveness. This is a deep knowing that your blessings are coming to you. With the High Priestess, I almost want to say, it's not that you guys shouldn't take action, but it's more that you have done everything right and you are doing everything right. I think the most important thing for you guys is that trust in that inner knowing, so that you can feel good on your journey. Your guides want you to believe in yourself more. The High Priestess, I don't think passive is the right word. I think it's receptive, where she is sitting on her throne and she is allowing everything to come to her, all of the offers, all of the blessings. She's feminine, so she's like the receptacle, is that the right word, for divine blessings. So I do feel that any actions you guys are taking are correct. You're doing everything right. It was a very long-winded way of saying that, I'm sorry. But following your heart and trusting your intuition is going to be very important. I would say that you should follow your own inner guidance rather than what people around you are saying, because the High Priestess has a connection to divine wisdom. She's very highly intuitive and she's also psychic. So all of the answers that you guys need are already within you. Another piece of advice that I want to give you guys is not to lower your bar. That's just a personal message that I get from the High Priestess very often. Like, she has high standards, high expectations. She knows her worth. So for example, I'll just give an example of a tarot reader because that's what I'm very familiar with. If you are selling readings and you have a certain price, but you feel like people are not really going for it, they're not really purchasing your readings, this card is saying that the solution is not to lower your price or, to offer more for less, or like throwing away freebies so that you can get people to come towards you. This is to keep your bar where it's at and not to settle. Be patient and know that your blessing is coming. Now here with the Three of Wands, there is a message here about like expanding. I often think of it as going big or going out of your comfort zone. 3 is also a number of communication. So the same way we saw here that togetherness and opening up to your community and the people around you is going to help, I would say if there's anything you can do in the 3D that maybe you guys are not doing right now, it's being more vocal about what you are doing. So talking to more people about what you're doing, and I should say without waiting to be asked. Like, go from yourself rather than waiting for people to say like, oh, what are you working on recently, or waiting for people to say, is there anything that I can help you with? Be proud and be confident and talk about what you're doing and share your business and promote your business. I think that's something that's really hard for many people at the beginning if they're doing some project on their own, is being confident enough to like reach out and tell people about it. That promotion part I think can be really hard for many people because it requires a lot of confidence, and I don't know, sometimes maybe you feel like you're bothering people by talking about what you do, but I feel like your passion is going to be very attractive to people, and your spirit guides are saying you should believe that people want to hear what you're doing and people will benefit from what you're offering. Like, you're benefiting them by sharing whatever it is that you're doing. And Spirit wants you to trust that. Maybe you guys have some internalized thing that like you're going to bother other people by asserting yourself or by sharing what you're doing, or by selling yourself is not the right word, but by like promoting yourself. Yeah, asserting what you're doing, or you feel like nobody cares what you have to say or nobody cares what you're doing, and so you kind of stay quiet and wait for people to discover you. Being more bold and confident, I think, is going to help you guys. So communicating, if you guys like have your own business, for example, maybe messaging people about it, reaching out to like in the example that you are an artist, reaching out to radio stations, reaching out to big pages so that they can share what you're doing, reaching out to your friends and family, asking them to share things, or even making ads. Some of you guys might want to make ads for what you're doing. In the case that you guys need to apply for something, because I know that not everybody's goal is like having their own business, but if you have a goal to be employed at a certain place or to enter into a certain school, to study a certain thing or something like that, if I put these together, there's a message of knowing your worth and keeping your bar high and being confident and going out of your comfort zone. So your guides are saying to aim high with whatever you're doing. So if there's like a really prestigious school out there that you think you can't get into, apply for it anyway. Like, go for it, know your worth. Or a really, really well-known company that you want to get into, but you're thinking that you should aim lower so that it's more realistic that you get in. These cards together, I feel like, are saying go big. I think you guys are doing everything right, but you just, your guides just want you to do it on a bigger scale. So like, do everything that you're doing, but more. Do everything that you're doing, but bigger. And they're saying that requires you to be confident and to believe that people want you. People want to hear what you have to say. People want to hire you or accept you if that applies to your situation. People want to buy what you're selling if that applies to your situation. Because I feel like a lot of you guys unconsciously have something in you that tells you the opposite. Like, people don't really want what you're putting out and you may be bothering them by offering it to them. That's not the case. People just need to know what you're doing. They need to hear about it, and I promise you they will love it. So maybe it sounds kind of cocky, but like, do them the favor of making yourself known. Be like, here's my presence, you're welcome. This is what your guides want you to do. All right, so now let's take a look at the more spiritual side. We've seen a little bit of this with your shadow work, with eliminating the negativity that is within you, but we'll see if there are any more messages from your guides about this. And we'll take 2 for this part as well. There's Queen of Crystals, so this is the Queen of Pentacles. And it's interesting that there is a tiger on this card, because tigers always remind me of the High Priestess. And the reason for that is because of the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. Some of you guys might know about it. It's really beautiful, and all of the cards have animals on them, and the High Priestess is a tiger. So that's why it reminds me. I also have an oracle deck that has a tiger on it, and it's the number 2 card, so that's also like the High Priestess's number. But anyway, enough of that. That's where that association comes from. So this is the Queen of Pentacles. Oh, one thing I want to say, because, okay, there are 2 full moons on the cards that we've taken out so far, and these can be about release. We also have this card which can be about like venturing out, or do you say displacing? Relocating yourself, or travel. And then this Queen of Pentacles, travel is not a traditional meaning of the Queen of Pentacles, but just the way she's like looking out into the horizon, it does make me think like maybe she is longing to journey somewhere. So for some of you, a change of pace, a change of scenery, or a change of your environment could be helpful in achieving your goals. And this can be something as small as like going to a cafe to do your work instead of being at home where there are distractions. Maybe there's like other people where you live that are distracting you. It could be something as simple as that, or it can literally be like moving house or moving to another location. There's something about your environment that may be distracting you, or that may be actively feeding the negativity within you. There may be some influences around you that keep making you feel the way you feel, whether it's like you're just around people who are pessimistic, or they are feeding that to you, like they're saying negative things to you. yeah, something about your environment or the people. Like, I keep going back to this card because it's like the people around you are going to make all the difference in uplifting you. Whoa. I don't know why this deck is so hard to shuffle. Well, yes, I do know why. It's because she's thick. And we have 2 cards that fell out at the same time, so we'll take both of them. There's the Empress. There's also a lot, and the Six of Swords. Another card about travel and more full moons, which are about releasing. Interesting. There's a lot of divine feminine energy for you guys. We have the High Priestess, we have the Empress, and we have the Queen here. We also have 2 and 3, and the number 6. I don't know why I pointed that out. I think 2 times 3 is 6, and then I thought that was relevant. Anyway, a lot of divine feminine energy. The divine feminine energy is creative and also very flexible. And this is making me think even more like, you guys are not meant to adhere to somebody else's plan, or you're not meant to follow like the textbook or follow the cookie cutter when it comes to your own journey. And a big source of your stress might be comparing your journey to other people, whether it's like people are giving you advice and saying, no, you should do it like this because that's what everyone else is doing, or you're just looking around at how other people are doing it, and constructing like what's possible for you and your limits based on that. But the divine feminine creates from within herself, and she can create anything. And you're not here to create a journey that is a carbon copy of everything else. You're here to create something that is an extension of you. Your journey and your goals, think of it as like your own child that you're putting forth into the world. You would never change anything about your child. You love them unconditionally, you embrace their uniqueness, and you should do the same for your journey. And don't be so caught up in what form this journey needs to take. And just enjoy the act of creating. I hope that makes sense. But your guides are showing me that you guys should get into that divine feminine energy of just creating freely and enjoying the beauty of the journey. All right, I also want to talk about the Queen of Pentacles and the Empress together. These are 2 amazing cards for abundance. You're literally the Queen of Money here with the Queen of Pentacles. And then the Empress, she has boundless resources, boundless abundance pouring out from within her. She can create any reality that she wants. Both of these would indicate very successful and affluent people. These cards together also make me think of beauty, inner beauty and outer beauty. And also, weirdly enough, this is going to be a very specific message that maybe doesn't really have to do with the topic of this reading, but when these 2 cards come out together, for me, like when I'm doing readings, there's a message about some like medical or cosmetic procedure is going to go well. It's going to go smoothly and you will recover beautifully. I don't know who that's for, but that is the message that I get when these 2 cards come out together. So if you have an upcoming surgery, medical or cosmetic surgery, or you've just been through one, know that your recovery is going to be speedy and healthy and aesthetically pleasing, okay? All right, so back to the reading. Yeah, this is definitely about knowing your worth, because these are the cards that have come out for what you can do spiritually to move towards your goals. And when the Queen of Pentacles appears, this tells me that you guys deserve the best. You deserve the world. It's actually very similar to what I was talking about with the High Priestess, like having a high bar for yourself. Some of you guys are really underselling yourself, or you're undercharging, or you're aiming lower than you should. This Three of Wands wants you to go big as well, go higher. So whether that's raising your price if you have your own business, or applying for higher positions, or to get into more prestigious places, whatever it is that your goal is, this is really saying to know your worth and to go big. The Empress is saying the same thing as well, because you guys are destined for great abundance. You have double number threes here. This is the number of abundance and manifestation and expansion. You're meant to have it all. You're truly meant to have it all. With the Six of Swords here, there is a message of moving on in this card, moving on to more peaceful waters. I definitely think this card is talking about your mental health improving, because again, it came out in the more like spiritual side of this reading. There's also a message in here about you guys forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself for past mistakes, or forgiving yourself for holding on to insecurities or negativity for as long as you have. It's okay, but you're moving, definitely with these two cards, you guys are moving away from a dark past. I think you're releasing a lot of negativity. You're releasing a lot of harsh judgments towards yourself. And yeah, you're moving on to a more peaceful situation. The number 6 is about peace and harmony and unconditional love, which you will be developing for yourself. And just having that inner knowing that everything is okay. Nothing has gone wrong. And in fact, you've been on the right path this whole time. Yes. Mental health is improving. This is going to help you to keep your passion. This is going to help you to keep your faith. This is going to help you to stay resilient and stay perseverant as you move along this journey. And again, with this being about like moving or travel, there's something about changing your environment that is going to help you. All right, so for the final part of this reading, I wanted to take a couple cards so that we can see what your life is going to be like once you've achieved your goals. So what can you look forward to in the future? What is your life going to be like once you have achieved these goals? Ooh, 9 of Cups. That's awesome. The 9 of Cups is all of your wishes coming true. It's contentment, it's satisfaction, it's gratitude. So if this card is coming out, it is a confirmation that everything you guys are wishing for, or everything you guys are working towards, it is going to make you as happy as you imagine it. Yes, 100%. This is also a card that talks about stress fading away and just living a more peaceful life in general. So it's a very nice card to come out accompanied by the 6 of Swords. Your guides are really emphasizing here, like, we're moving past the stress, we're moving past the difficulties, we're coming out of the darkness, and it's all peace and harmony and light waiting for you guys. And ooh, Awakening. And this one is, oh my gosh, which one is this? I don't remember which major arcana this is supposed to. Oh, yes, I do. Sorry. It's Judgment. This card is Judgment in the traditional tarot. And it's very interesting because Judgment is also about moving up and forgiving and having compassion for your past self. Which we were talking about with the 6 of Swords, like forgiving yourself for anything you have done or any negativity that you've held on to the past, in the past, and we're not going to bring that with us. And the number 9 as well, this is about leveling up. This is about spiritual awakening, spiritual development. You guys are really, really evolving when you achieve these goals. You're becoming, I don't know if a new you is the right way to say it, because you're the you that you've always been, but it will really be like you have shed your old skin, you have let go of all the heavy baggage, you have come out of your cocoon, and you are like a transformed version of yourself. I also want to say with this Awakening card that whatever goals you guys are working towards right now, this is part of your calling, this is part of your life's purpose. And I say that because on the traditional Judgment card, there's like an angel in the sky who is calling down with the trumpet, and the people below are like coming out of their box to rejoice and answer the call. And there's that message again of like, step out of your box, step out of your comfort zone. This is your calling, so go for it with confidence. Like, no more wishy-washy, like if people will notice and if things will go well. No, make them notice. Go out there and aim high. This is your purpose. This is your calling. You are in alignment. You are on the right path. So this is the time to be confident and be positive and give it everything that you've got and spit out that negativity. Whether you just flip the switch on it or you want to go deeper and figure out where it comes from, spit it out. It needs to be spit out. All right, so this is all the messages that I see for you guys, so I'm gonna end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. I just saw 3333 on the camera timer. I'm sending you lots of love, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Hi number twos, so if you guys chose the Rider-Waite Tarot, this is going to be a reading all about where you should focus your energy in order to achieve your goals. So just before we get into it, I do want to apologize in advance because I am currently in quarantine in a hotel, so if you can hear any like background noise, sometimes there's noise that comes in through the walls. I apologize if that happens at any point in this reading. So to start off, I want to just take a look at some oracle cards first, and these are going to be like messages from your spirit guides about the nature of your goals or where you're at in terms of progress and any advice that they would like to give you to start off. So the first card that we have is support, then romance, and childhood. All right, so I'll just go through them in order, starting with support. This is a lovely card to see and a wonderful one to open up the reading because as a message from your spirit guides, this is showing me that they are in full support of the goals that you guys have chosen to work towards. They are going to support you through this journey no matter what. I'm looking at this infinity symbol on the card, and it's making me feel that your guides are saying, we will stick with you forever. We will stick with you through until the end. And they're very, very happy about the goals that you guys have chosen because they are confirming that it is going to lead to your fulfillment and to your happiness. Not only that, but they're specifying that the goals you guys are working towards, it's going to make a difference for others too. There's something about your goals that is going to help a lot of people and make a very positive difference in the world. So this meaning of support, it could also be you bringing support to other people. So like you're receiving this divine support from your guides, and then you will pay it forward to the people you are helping or the people you're serving. They're really, really emphasizing that you guys are going to make a great difference in the world. I also want to tell you guys with this card that you will have infinite resources when it comes to the realization of this goal. Your guides are always going to make sure that you have whatever you need. The rain cloud on this card with the rain falling, I feel like I kind of interpret it differently every time it comes out, but what I'm being shown this time is that, how can I explain it? Let's say you're a person on the ground here. You might think that your resources are limited to the water that is already in these cups because that's what you can see from where you are. But unbeknownst to you, your guides can rain down more resources at any time. And they can add to what you have, if that makes sense. Like, you can't predict it, you can't control it, but your guides can come down and just rain abundance on you. So it would be inaccurate to think that your water is just limited to what's in the cups. I hope that that makes sense. An affirmation that you guys might want to use if you are into affirmations is, I am open to new ways of receiving abundance, or I'm open to unexpected ways of receiving abundance. And a good habit for you guys to get into when you maybe feel like you're in a pinch, you don't have what you need, or you don't know how you can go about getting what you need, whether that is money, knowledge, equipment, assistance, you don't know how to get it, if you can just get out of the way and say, I don't know, but my guides will figure it out, then they will step in and figure it out for you. So whatever you need, even if you don't know how, they will have some way of bringing it to you. And that's like the natural, what can I say? It's like the great force of nature that can come in and pour more down on you. So you're not just limited to your cups, you have this divine support. So I'm open to new ways of receiving. I'm open to unexpected ways of receiving. Remember those and affirm those to yourself if you feel like doing that. With the next card that we have here, this is romance. Of course, there's a few ways that I can interpret this card. One could actually be that romance is a goal of yours. I guess I was more thinking of professional goals, but as a personal goal, romance can certainly be one. But when it comes to your professional goals, this could even be indicating that as you move towards your goals, this is what is going to move you towards a romantic union. If there is not one in your life already, moving towards your goals could be linked to this somehow, or you could be achieving your goals with a romantic partner, whether you have met them yet already or not. I think it's interesting that the imagery of like liquid pouring down is continuing in this card, and you can see these two hands, which are representing you and a romantic partner. You cannot even contain all of this liquid in your hands. So what this is showing to me is that you guys have, it's like you have more divine support than you know what to do with. And this is really, really emphasizing that you guys will always have more than enough when it comes to abundance and when it comes to resources from the divine. This can also be talking about support in your community, that you guys will be receiving a lot of love and admiration and appreciation for what you do. I'm just noticing the little flower. You see the point where you and your partner meet and there's a flower growing from it? This can be showing that as you guys link up, it will give birth to something new. So you could very well be creating something with a romantic partner that's going to bring you a lot of success, or again, achieving your goals is going to lead to the union with them, or it could just be as simple as romance is a goal of yours, and it's also one that your spirit guides are supporting you with. Now, finally going to this childhood card, this is making me think of inner child. So maybe advice for you guys as you move towards your goals is to remember what you love to do as a child, how big you would dream when you were a child, or what you were good at, what you wanted to be when you grew up. There could be some hints in there about the things that you will accomplish. Also, another thing, I'm noticing that both of these hands have bracelets, and just going back to the romance thing that I was talking about, there could be something about you and your partner having like matching bracelets or a matching accessory of some kind. It could even be like a matching tattoo, but there's something that you guys adorn yourselves with that is matching. That's what I'm thinking. And this could be something that happens after you get together, or even a way that you will recognize them. Like, oh my gosh, we have the same bracelet. there must be something here about that. But yes, when it comes to where you should focus your energy, getting back to your inner child is something that your guides are stressing. And this goes for both the things that you liked to do, or the things that you aspired to as a child, or that sort of wonder and big dreaming that you had as a child. So that is one way to interpret this. Another thing that I'm seeing, and this will go more to like the spiritual sense of things, but when it comes to something that could be blocking the realization of your goals, there could be something about you guys not having received adequate support or adequate validation in your childhood. Like if you had some dream or some wish, something that you wanted to pursue, it could have been that it was like intentionally dismissed by the adults in your life, or it could have even been like, these things don't always have to be malicious, you know. It could have been like the adults in your life didn't have the resources to make it happen. They wanted to support you, but they weren't able to. It can be something like that, or it can be like intentionally dismissing what you wanted. But I'm wondering if there was something in your childhood where your dreams didn't get the support that they could have gotten, and somehow maybe this deflated your sense of hope and your sense of wonder. And even as you've grown up, we want to give that spark back to your inner child, because your inner child still very much exists. And if you can make your inner child happy, and if you can instill hope, and if you can instill that spark in them, that will in turn instill the spark in you. I hope that that was a good explanation, but healing your inner child could be something that you guys should focus your energy on, that's going to help you to move forward and stay positive when it comes to achieving your goals. It could have been something that happened in your love life as well, like if there was a partner who didn't really get your dreams or who didn't really support your goals. I've definitely been there before, so I know how much that sucks. Or it could even be in both if it's a pattern that is repeating itself. But your guides are here to let you know that all of the support you could ever need, you can get it from them. Even if you don't see how it's going to come, how you're going to make it happen, because they have this big rain cloud and they can come in and cause a shower down on your life of everything you need. All right, so let's look at the next oracle cards now and see what the remaining messages or advice is from your spirit guides. Oh, this one's pretty literal. This card says, make a plan for your long-term future. This is something that your guides want you to do. Long-term, of course, that is subjective and it will really depend on your feeling. I would definitely say at least 1 year into the future. For some of you guys, you're going to want to make a 3-year or even a 5-year plan into the future. They're also stressing it should be something that you can look at every day. So rather than just like writing something in a notebook and then, you know, putting it aside and forgetting it, if there's like something you can put up on your wall, like some long-term goal that you can put up on your wall and look at every day, or maybe you even want to make a vision board, or if there is, I don't know, like let's say one of your goals is to have a mansion. If you can put a mansion as your phone background, or just something that you will look at and that it's going to remind you every day. That's what they want you to do. So that if at any point you're starting to feel like discouraged, or you're starting to lose hope, or you start to lose sight of why you're doing the things that you're doing, having that long-term plan is going to remind you of your end goal and remind you why you're right here, right now, doing what you're doing. They're saying this is going to help to motivate you, and it's going to help you stay focused. And they're really stressing like the look at it every day thing. It's going to help you to remember your why, if that makes sense. Remember your why. And the next card is, it says treasure each and every step that you take. I do want to point out that like there's a snake here, there's a dragon here. This looks like a snake or dragon-like creature, the way there's like scales on it. So those could be important spirit animals for you. If you see them, it could be a sign that you're on the right path. I'm also thinking of like the year of the dragon and the year of the snake. And aren't those next to each other in the Chinese zodiac? Dragon, snake. Yeah, I think they are. So maybe, I don't know if that's relevant to you guys, like you are born in those years, or someone in your life is born in those years, or you could just be seeing them as a sign that you're on the right path. But I think it's interesting how that kind of creature has come up in 3 of the cards so far. Yes, but back to the meaning of this card. This says to treasure each and every step that you take. This is definitely a message about enjoying the journey. And going back to this, making a plan for your long-term future. If you're ever feeling like your journey is like mundane, or it's getting even a little bit tough, this will remind you to enjoy the process and enjoy where you are right now, because where you are right now and every little step you take, it's all going to add up, and it's all going to lead to this one day. It's really important for you guys to have this end goal, because I feel like it could be easy to like lose direction, or like lose sense of why you're doing these things in the mundane day-to-day. Making sure that you have high spirits to keep going and enjoy the process and enjoy the journey day to day is like it's very important. So maybe this is a journey where it's like you're not really seeing immediate results, and it's less of a like a blowing up, like a definitive moment where you blow up, and it's more of like your culminated little efforts day by day are going to add up to something really, really big. It's like if you drop a grain of sand into a pile every day, eventually it is going to make a mountain. And maybe you cannot see that change from day to day, but if you just keep that mountain in your mind and remember that every single little grain counts, every little effort counts, this is what they want you to remember. And eventually you will have your mountain. No step that you take is insignificant. No victory is insignificant. Celebrate every little step. That's what this is saying. Because eventually you're going to look back and be like, holy crap, look at what I accomplished. Look at everything that I did. All right, so let's get into your tarot now, and we are going to first look at what actions you can take in the 3D to help move towards your goal. So this is going to be more like the concrete actions that you're taking, and then we're also going to take a look at what you can do in a more like emotional or spiritual sense. Okay, so let's start with, and I'm just going to move these up a bit. This is a slippery table. Okay, let's start with the concrete actions that you guys can take. So we have the 7 of Cups coming out right away. This one fell out very, very quickly. And the Knight of Cups. All right. So, okay, I will start here with the 7 of Cups. This is a pretty clear message because it talks about being overwhelmed by a lot of choices, being overwhelmed by a lot of potential paths, and there is the need to simplify things. There's a need to narrow things down and choose one. So when I see this card, this could be showing me that you guys, like, your energy is a little bit scattered. It's like maybe you're not really sure what your approach is going to be to achieve your goals, and so you're putting like one egg in each basket and seeing which one is going to take off. And I do think it's good to keep your options open. It's good to be open, but what I'm kind of seeing is that it's like you're putting a little bit of effort into each possibility, but your guides want you to put like a really earnest effort into one thing. There could also be a message in here about really getting your routine and your schedule like in shape. And that could be a part of this message where you're coming up with a long-term plan of your future. There might be some guidance here for once you have your 5-year plan, for example, then break it down into years. And then break it down into months. And of course you can change these as you go along, but just to have a sense of structure and to have a sense of like, okay, this is realistic, I can do this, breaking it down into smaller increments until you get to like, what am I going to do from day to day? Structure is really important for you guys. And also decisiveness of like, this is what we're going to work on. And I should probably be taking notes right now because when I think of like my music, for example, I'm all over the place with it. Like, I will start working on something new and then I'll completely forget about it, and then I'll do something else, and then I won't work on it for like weeks, and then I'll come back and I have so many unfinished things, and it's very, very overwhelming. So like, if I could have a system in place of like, I'm going to finish 1 song per week or even 1 song per month, something that is realistic, that is feasible, and that's going to keep me on track. You need to have systems in place that are keeping you on track and that are keeping you so that you don't get overwhelmed and confused about what you're going to do next. Maybe you guys are the type to be easily distracted or easily overwhelmed, or you're the type to like start something and not finish it, or get very interested in many different things and then kind of scatter your energy. And your guides are showing you to bring it back to one place and create a realistic schedule for it. So like, we're gonna complete one step of this a week, or when you're making a to-do list, to keep it simple. Like, we're gonna do 3 tasks today. We're gonna do this, this, and this. Because if you write down like a million things that you want to complete, I feel like you will get overwhelmed, and then you might not end up doing any of them, or you will fall short of your expectation, and then you will be disappointed in yourself, and then you'll lose motivation. So having structure and realistic goals and breaking it down, this is very important for you guys. And then here with the Knight of Cups, this is a card that actually talks about, for me, like somebody coming in to help you with your goals. It's usually somebody who is around the same age as you. That's at least what I found. And somebody who really cares about you as a person. This is maybe not necessarily an action that you guys are taking, but more so showing what is coming towards you in the 3D. Somebody is going to come in to help you guys out. They're going to promote what you're doing, or they're going to boost what you're doing in some way, or they're going to introduce you to somebody who can help you. This person is coming in to hook you up. For most of you, I'm feeling that it's somebody that you at least know of already. It could be somebody who is in your life and close to you, but at the very least, you know who they are, even if you haven't interacted with them. And yeah, I'm getting like same age. Of course, it could be like a little bit different, but they might be on a higher level in terms of like where they're at in their journey, their level of success, and they're gonna come in and help you. And the emphasis that I always see when it comes to the Cups cards is that there's nothing this person can really gain from helping you. So they're not doing it for a selfish motive because there's anything in it for them. They just really resonate with what you're doing, and they want to help you out, like out of the goodness of their heart. And it may be because they see a little bit of themselves in you, like you remind them of themselves when they were just starting off, and they feel some, like compassion or familiarity towards you. It's kind of like that kind of energy that I get with the Cups cards, but they are going to help you move forward. And I like the imagery in the back because the knight is walking through this desert, and then it's like they're bringing you to an oasis. So if you've been feeling stranded, if you've been feeling stuck, and even your support is being shown as rain here. So if you guys are feeling like things have been dry lately, you are being brought rain, you're being brought an oasis. So this is your homework. This is what your guides want you to do. And then they're also letting you know that somebody is going to be coming in to help you guys. And for some, this might even be happening within the month of July, because we have the number 7 here, which represents July. All this water energy can be talking about the summer season, at least if you're in the northern hemisphere, or it can be talking about Cancer season, because Cancer is a water sign. So it could be happening very, very soon, or the person who is coming in to help you could be a Cancer or a water sign. And maybe this is even this romantic connection that we saw earlier. All right, so now let's take a look at what you guys can do in the more spiritual or emotional sense so that you can move towards your goals. Oops. All right. Let's try that again. What can you guys do in the spiritual or emotional sense to achieve your goals? And we have the King of Pentacles here, which is interesting because group 1 had the Queen of Pentacles. And ooh, okay, interesting. I feel a little bit emotional for this pile. One more. And 5 of Cups. Yes, okay. You guys will benefit from healing your inner child, and you may even be interested in doing a past life regression. With the King of Pentacles, I was feeling very strongly that you guys are an old soul. You are a very advanced soul. And not always, but I sometimes get the feeling from the King of Pentacles, like skills or knowledge or some mastery that you have inherited from your past life self, if that makes sense. Like a skill that you have been working on mastering for many, many lifetimes, and then you're coming into this life still having it. Like, for example, you were an amazing piano player in many of your past lives, and so in this lifetime, it's like you are a child prodigy. Like you're like Mozart. You're like 6 years old and you're playing very advanced pieces because you still have that knowledge from your past life. Of course, it can be any skill, but this is what you guys had when you were born into this incarnation. And I feel like it was something that you loved to do as a child. It was like some game that you liked to play, or like if you like to like play make-believe and pretend that you were a dancer or a teacher or a doctor or something. It could have been like a hobby that you had, or yeah, the things that you like to play, the things that you like to enjoy. And probably when you were that little, you weren't really thinking about like, oh damn, I'm so good at this, because it just came naturally to you. That is the message of the King of Pentacles. It's like when you're so good at something that you're a natural. Like experts don't have to think about what they're doing. They just do it. I remember my dad taught me like there's different levels when you're learning something. First, you are consciously incompetent, and then you are unconsciously incompetent, and then you're consciously competent, and then you're unconsciously competent, if that makes sense. So first you're bad at it and you know it, then you're bad at it and you don't know it, and then you're good at it and you know it, and then you're good at it and you don't know it, or you don't have to think about it. That's like the levels of mastery. Anyway, all of that to say, you guys are good at it and you don't have to think about it. And even when you were a child, it's like you were just a natural. You were so good at it, and you probably just felt like you were a kid playing, but you had inherited this amazing knowledge or this amazing skill from previous lifetimes. And what I see with the Five of Cups here is, yeah, this is making me think of what we saw in the beginning, where it's like you guys, it wasn't nurtured in the way that it should have been, or it wasn't supported in the way that it should have been. So like back to that piano example, maybe you were very good at it, but then as you grew up, you didn't get to have a piano in your house, or you didn't get to go to lessons, or you didn't get to perform at recitals or go to auditions or whatever it was. So over time you felt like this isn't important, or this isn't going to go anywhere. There's something like that. It should have been supported. And I'm just noticing the 10 of Wands at the bottom of this deck. So maybe for many of you, it's not like this wasn't in a malicious or in a dismissing kind of way, but it could have been that the people in your life were just very busy, or they had a lot of other responsibilities, like they had a big family to take care of, or they had to make ends meet, and so they weren't able to support this in the right way. But of course, when you're little, you don't have that kind of consciousness, or you don't have that kind of understanding maybe that that's what's going on, and maybe you just internalize like, I shouldn't do this anymore, this isn't important, this isn't going to amount to anything, and you grow up and move on to other things. But with this Five of Cups here, this is a card of sadness, as I'm sure you can tell. So I feel like there's like a little child within you who is sad and who wants to come out and play and do this thing that they're so naturally good at, that they're meant to share with the world. And for any support you guys didn't get in the past, your guides are here to bring it to you. There's a romantic partner who's here to bring it to you. There's a Knight of Cups coming in, whether this is the romantic partner or someone else. But your guides are saying that support is an infinite resource. So just because you didn't get it at one time, it doesn't mean that you can't get it now. and it doesn't mean that you won't have it in the future. You can even see on this card, not all the cups have been spilled. There are still cups behind that are full that you're just not seeing. And it's interesting that in the support card, it's also illustrated by cups. Oh, interesting. And the thought that was coming to my mind is like, your support is not limited to what's in these cups. And if the person here was thinking, all I have is limited to what's inside the cups, of course, he would be devastated when the cups spill. But at any moment, it can start raining, and these cups will be filled up again. It will start raining from the divine. So whatever it is that you didn't get, you can still get it, and you will get it. The resources that you needed, the support and the nurturing that you guys needed to really bring this skill out of you. And what's really interesting to me as well is the imagery on these cards looks really, really similar. Like this person is standing by the river crying, and the knight is coming up to the river, almost as if he's coming to meet this unsuspecting Five of Cups person and say, oh, have you spilled your cup? Well, I have another one here, so you can take my cup. You will get what you need. I promise you will get what you need. Yeah, I feel emotional with this one, but please know that your skill is so highly developed from many, many lifetimes. You're a natural at it. And even if you feel like you have lost it over the years, when you get back into it, you're gonna pick it up right away. All right, so finally, I want to see, what is your life going to look like when you have achieved your goals? What does your future look like when you've achieved your goals? There's Five of Swords. Interesting. And, oh, there's the Tower. Okay, so when you achieve your goals and when you move up, there are going to be some things that are changing in your life. The primary one that I'm seeing is relationships. As you start to become successful, as you start to become admired and adored, as you start to become more wealthy and in a more position of like power and authority, whatever applies to your situation, some people might be leaving your life. We can see there's people walking away here, walking away in this card, and then in the Tower card we see people literally falling away. Interestingly, on both cards there are two people, so that might be relevant. Like there's two people in your life who are maybe important that will be falling away. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to scare you, but the idea of the Tower card is that whatever is falling away, or whatever is falling apart, I should say, it wasn't built on a solid foundation in the first place. Like this tower is so shaky that just lightning is knocking the whole thing down. So it wasn't strong to begin with. And this is showing that anything that is being removed from your life, it wasn't resilient in the first place, or it wasn't worth holding on to in the first place. So there might be some people in your life who it was like, they wanted you to succeed as long as you didn't succeed more than them, or they were like sticking around and rooting for you because they wanted to benefit off of your success, or just people who didn't really have the best intentions for you, because this is a card about like conflicts and disagreements. And sometimes when it comes to success journeys, I see this as like jealous people, or people who didn't really want the best from you, and the truth is coming out. So if I'm being honest, this transition could be a little bit uncomfortable, and it could even hurt, but I have to read the cards honestly. When you guys are moving up, there may be some falling outs, as we see literally in this card, and there's been some disagreement and now they're walking away from each other. There might be some falling outs. There's also a message of, there may be people who try to guilt you and say like, you've changed, like ever since you found this success, you've changed, and I miss the old you. please don't believe them or don't listen to them. These are people who don't want to see you grow. And if somebody isn't allowing you to change, and if someone isn't allowing you to grow, that's a red flag, okay? So anybody who is saying that to you, they don't mean it for your best interest. I'm being shown that. So if people are falling out, let them fall out. And I know that can be quite painful, but I'm being shown that it wasn't a solid foundation to begin with. And I do want to point out that I see the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck. This means that things will get better. It comes right after the Five of Swords, and this is a turbulent situation that is becoming peaceful. You can see this person is rowing away out of the turbulent sea into the peaceful waters, and he's actually taking people with him. So you can think of these as like the people who truly matter and the people who truly care about you. And yes, there may be some falling outs, but there will also be people who stick around and support you and love to see you grow, even if it means that you're surpassing them or you're growing bigger. They don't want to contain you. They want to see your full potential, and they're happy to see your evolution. They're happy to see your change. It doesn't make them uncomfortable. It makes them want to celebrate. So you will be moving on with loved ones. 6 is the number of unconditional love and peace and harmony. But in order to get here, there will be a little bit of an uncomfortable transition to get through. 5 is the number of change and turning points, and 6 is the number of harmony. So just remember, at the end of this uncomfortable transition is peace and harmony and being surrounded by unconditional love. All right, so these are all the messages that I have for you. I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy, sending you lots of love, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number 3s. So if you guys chose the Moonchild Tarot deck, this is going to be your reading all about where you should focus your energy in order to achieve your goals. Just before we get into the reading, I did want to apologize in advance just in case there is any strange background noise coming into this video. I am currently in quarantine in a hotel, so sometimes there's noise that comes in from the other rooms or even strange noises from within the room. So if any of that makes it into this video, I'm sorry about that. But let's get into it. So I actually want to start this reading off with some oracle cards, and these are going to be messages from your spirit guides with regards to the nature of your goals and where you're at in terms of progress. And we're just going to see what advice they would like to give you to start off. So the first card that we have for you is Light, then Abundance, and It Gets Better. Wow. All 3 beautiful messages for you guys. So I'm going to start over here with the Light card. I don't know if this is like the first time this card has come out in a reading or not, but this image is really like striking me, if that's the right word. Maybe I just haven't seen it that many times, but it's really standing out to me. And I'm thinking of all of these stars with the eyes on them as light beings. You guys have like a huge team of light beings helping you from the other side. It looks like there are 3 that are more prominent than the rest. So you could have 3 primary guides who are helping you, and then there's like a big tribe of souls on the other side who are assisting you on your journey. But it looks from this card that you guys have a lot of support in whatever goals you are working towards. They're also specifying, even if you haven't really solidified your goals yet, or you're still trying to figure out what it is that you want to do, they will support you in that as well. They will help to illuminate or shine light on what it is that you would be good at and what it is that you are meant to do. But I do think with this card that you guys do have a very big calling in this lifetime. Light workers are coming to mind. If you have a very, very big team supporting you, it may be that you have or will have very, very big goals in your lifetime. And part of what you are meant to do is tied into raising the vibration of the world, or even I could go so far as to say changing the world. Whatever goals you guys are working towards, they are related to your purpose as a light worker, whether you are aware of it or not. For some of you, it might be very obvious, like if you have a goal to help others, to uplift others, if you already have a goal to change the world, then maybe this is obvious to you, but maybe some of you are feeling like, but this is my goal, how can this be related to a light worker? How can this raise the vibration of the world, or like help with awakening in any way? You can also help with this by being an example, and you can also help with this by inspiring others. Simply by moving towards your goals and achieving your dreams, you will activate, so to speak, you will activate the people around you, wake them up, because they want to live a life like you. They want to achieve that level of happiness and fulfillment that you have. They'll be so inspired and delighted by looking at you that they want to then pursue their own dreams. So you are creating a ripple effect. Whether you are directly helping others or living as an example, what you're doing is part of your purpose as a light worker. Many of you guys who chose this group, you may be like visionaries in your field, you may be the artists, you may be the entrepreneurs, you may be the inventors. I feel like you guys are the game changers. You're meant to do something that's kind of unconventional, maybe that not very many people have done before, and to show the world that it is possible. And I feel like many of you guys, in some way or another, will change the industry that you're in. Like you'll change the way people perceive it, or you'll change the way people do things, the way people approach it, or you will make some really significant advancement in your field. So let's just say, for an example, that you are in medicine. Maybe one of your accomplishments is groundbreaking, and it changes the way people approach medicine. Or maybe you make a discovery that's going to save many people's lives. Or if you're a musician, maybe you are breaking the boundaries of genres and what can be considered mainstream and what can become like commercially successful and be played on the radio. You're really pushing the limits in whatever you're doing. So I feel like you guys are the game changers and the trailblazers. If you haven't figured out what that might be yet, these light beings are saying it's okay, and just keep going, and you will figure out as you go along how you are meant to break the barriers, how you're meant to change the game. But you guys are definitely breaking some barriers. You may also be, like, for example, maybe not the first, but you could be like a minority in your group. Like maybe the field that you're in doesn't have very much representation of a certain gender or ethnicity or ability or orientation or something like that, and you're there to be that representation and break those stereotypes of who is often in this profession. You're really going to open people's eyes and change the way they see that field or that industry, if that makes sense. And then the next card for you guys is abundance. This is pretty straightforward, and I'm not really sure that I'm gonna go too deeply into this one because it's just that you guys are going to be abundant, you guys are going to be wealthy. You can see the cups overflowing, meaning that you have more than you could ever need. This card reminds me of a lot of the 9 of Cups or the 10 of Cups in tarot, because it has that feeling of fulfillment, it has that feeling of happiness. So this abundance is not just in the material sense, although you will very much have that, but it's also an abundance of joy, an abundance of emotional fulfillment. It's interesting that there's like the third eye in this imagery, and there's so many eyes on this card with the light beings. So it could be that you are receiving like psychic downloads from these light beings, you're receiving ideas from them, they're helping you to bring this new invention or this new way of thinking into the world. And also looking at the tears that are coming out of the eyes, it is very moving, it is very touching, and maybe that's where this "it gets better" card comes in. Maybe some of you guys who chose this pile have kind of had it rough in the past, or you are still going through a rough time. Maybe some of you have had a broken heart along the way, you've had defeat, you have had some failures or fallen down along the way, so that when you do get to this abundance, when you do have your big moment of success, it's going to mean that much more to you. There may even be like some tears of happiness that you guys are crying, some tears of joy, or even some tears of sadness for your past self who went through all of these tough things so that you could be here where you are now. But this card is very clearly saying to you guys who have been through something rough, it is going to get better. Your broken heart will mend. Your cups are going to be filled. Your moment will come. Yes, your moment will come. All right, so the next oracle cards that we have, there are just 2 more, so we'll see what other messages or advice your spirit guides have for you. And this one says, like, it is essential to go at it with sincere and genuine intentions. What I'm feeling with this one is that you will need more than like a superficial intention or a superficial reason to get through it and to achieve your goals. So for example, rather than focusing on like the money or the fame or the status or the popularity, not that it's bad to want those things, but it's not enough to sustain you through this journey, I feel. Like, let's say you are focusing solely on the money or like hitting certain numbers or having certain popularity. Those things are superficial, they can be unstable. Like sometimes you might be doing really well financially and then other times you're not. It comes and goes. Or like the opinions of the public could be fickle. Sometimes they love you and they're super into what you're doing, and other times they're not so interested. These kind of things fluctuate, and if your feelings of fulfillment and your feelings of worth are based solely on that, it's going to cause an emotional roller coaster for you, because when the numbers are up and when the interest is up, then that means your mood is up and your feelings of self-worth is up. And then when they go down, as they naturally do at some point, because it's all just cycles and fluctuations, then you'll start to feel like something went wrong or you're not succeeding anymore, people don't like you anymore. I think they're just saying, your guides are saying not to attach your feeling of success or worth to those superficial things. You will need to care for something deeper if you want to be successful and if you want to sustain yourself and keep going. So they're saying to focus more on your passion, focus more on the enjoyment of doing it, and focus more on the joy that it brings to other people. Regardless of how many people it is, just the fact that you are helping somebody, the fact that you are making somebody happy, the fact that you are improving somebody's life. If you focus on those things, it's going to bring you a lot more fulfillment, and it's going to help you to continue, because they're saying that's what is going to be the constant for you. That's what is not going to change. Maybe your money fluctuates, or your success, like how many goals you're hitting in a certain period of time. Maybe that is going to fluctuate. Maybe people's opinions will fluctuate, especially if you're doing something that is like groundbreaking or that hasn't been done before. People sometimes like to, sorry to be vulgar, but sometimes people like to shit on that kind of stuff because they don't get it, and they want to criticize it, and they want to talk crap about it. So they're saying don't worry about that. And it's not that caring about money and popularity is insincere, but I think with this card, like, to have sincere intentions, it's focus on what you love to do and focus on making others happy. That's what's going to carry you through all the ups and downs of the superficial stuff. And then the next card is, it's like rid yourself of self-centered thinking. So there is like a huge emphasis for you guys to focus on service, focus on what you can do for others is what's going to make you the most happy. We have abundance here, so I feel like the message that you guys are getting is focus on service, focus on helping others and making others happy, and the rest will come naturally. If you guys are still trying to figure out like how to make your goals work, or even trying to figure out what your goals are, this is the key for you guys. Instead of thinking of like what's going to make me the most successful, what's going to make me the most wealthy, they're really showing me strongly that if you go from it like in that approach, you're kind of going to miss the mark. And if you focus on what do I have to give to others, how can I help others, what might others need from me in terms of my skills and my knowledge and my expertise, and how could my interests help other people. If you come at it like that, you're going to hit the jackpot. You're going to find the perfect path, and it's naturally going to be the one that brings you the most abundance because it brings you the most joy and fulfillment. And when you have more joy and fulfillment, you have more desire to keep going. If you start from the how can I gain, it's not going to fulfill you. This is what they're showing me. So focus on the service and how you can help other people, because this is what you were meant to do as a light worker. All right, so that concludes the oracle card section of this reading. So let's move on now to the tarot part. All right, so I'm going to do it in, okay, let's start with the two different parts of what actions you can take in the 3D, so what concrete actions you can take in order to move towards your goals, and then we'll take a look at what you can do in the more emotional or spiritual sense. So what actions can group 3 take in order to move towards their goals? What actions can they take? So first we have Moonchild. And Temperance. Wow. So these are 2 major arcana. This is of course like an original major arcana by the creator of this deck. It's interesting because I wanted to do like the spiritual part next, and then this is talking more about like what concrete actions you can take. But I feel like with the Moonchild here, one of the things that your guides actually want you to do is to get more in touch with your spirituality. This is something that you can actively do that is going to help you move towards your goals. As we can see here, there are many light beings that want to speak with you, and I'm not sure like if you are acquainted with this group or really who they are. They might be from a different star system, or maybe they haven't been in like human vessels for a very, very long time. It feels like they're not really from here. Maybe you just know the major ones, or maybe you only know one of them, but there are a lot of light beings who would like to make your acquaintance and who would like to communicate with you, and they are going to give you answers. If you don't feel inspired to take any action in the 3D right now, or if you feel confused about what action you can take, they're saying don't worry about it. When it's time to take action and there's something that you should do, they're saying that you're going to feel very, very sure, because it's going to come to you as a very clear, intuitive hit. And in fact, with all of these eyes, you might see a vision of what you are meant to do. You might see it in a dream, you might astral project and see a vision of it, or you could even see a vision of it during a meditation. But with all of these eyes, there might be something about you like seeing it, what you're meant to do next. This is not a situation where you guys are going to be like taking shots in the dark, and in fact I don't even really see a lot of trial and error in this situation. Of course, everybody's journey is different. So for some people, that's part of their journey. That's part of their divine plan, is that they're meant to go through that process of trial and error to see what works. But for you guys, this is about exercising your third eye and exercising your connection to these beings and rejoicing in how they can work through you and how you can be this like vessel to bring light to the earth. It's like you guys are a portal for this light. So actually, one of the actions they want you to take is connecting to your spirituality, connecting to your intuition, and allowing them to come through and speak to you. They will give you the answers, they will give you the information, where you need to be, when you need to be there, and you will feel certain about it. Don't worry about taking actions that you feel wishy-washy about. Don't worry about doing things just to do things, like getting things done just so you can feel productive. When it's time to act, you will know, and you'll know what to do. There is a message here as well about you might be able to pick up on them more at night. Maybe you guys feel like very active at night. Oh, that's another thing. For those of you, and maybe this is just for some of you, for those of you who are night owls, they're saying like there's no need to repair that, if that makes sense. I guess it's like the norm to wake up and to be a morning person. And we often see in the like productivity community and in the like self-help books and things like that, if you want to be successful and healthy and on top of stuff, you should wake up at 5 a.m. Well, maybe you guys stay up all night and you sleep at 5 a.m. because the nighttime is when you're the most active. So if that's what your natural rhythm is like, honor that and take advantage of the hours when you feel the most creative. And don't waste your creative hours just because some book says that you should be sleeping at this time or that that's healthier for you. Because this is all about your intuition. This is all about your feeling. So when it feels right to be awake and active and doing things, honor that. Who cares if everybody else is sleeping? You do you. You follow your own rhythm. You follow your own schedule. The moon is a very feminine energy, and it's about like the natural cycles that are within us and being led by our instinct and by our emotions. So maybe you guys will do better without like a rigid structure of what you need to do. And it's so funny because I was like, just in the last pile, I was saying the complete opposite. So it's really like the key for success, it's really different for every person. And when we follow like what everybody else is doing, or when we follow like what this like guru said or what this book said, we really are doing a disservice to ourselves. So follow your own instinct and follow your own intuition about when it's right to act, when it's right to be active, and when you want to rest. And if you need to rest more than others, that is okay. If you're not taking action because it doesn't feel right, it's okay. Your moment will come. That's like the message that keeps coming. And I actually do feel some, not pain, but like pressure in my forehead when I'm talking to you guys. So that might be bringing the attention to your third eye. But a lot of the actions you're supposed to take, you will see them in your third eye, or these light beings will tell you. Wow, the energy of this pile is very unique. Temperance is also a card that talks about getting in touch with our spirituality. This is a very advanced being that we see on the Temperance card. This is the number 14, which adds up to 5, and this number can represent a bridge between the physical world and the heavens, or the soul world, because it's the middle number from 1 to 9. So it's like that bridge from the physical and the tangible to the intangible, the bridge between planet Earth and these light beings. And I feel like you are this bridge. You guys may actually be a very gifted medium. I don't know if you guys have ever explored that before, but you know, basically talking to spirits who have crossed over, talking to and connecting with the deceased, for example, and of course connecting with beings who may not even really have a strong connection to Earth themselves, but who are here to help us Earthlings. Yes, you guys are a bridge. This is a card about health and balance. So there is something about you guys having this healthy routine in your life, but they're very much saying to make your own based on what feels right. You guys need to honor your natural instincts and honor your feelings, and not stress yourself out trying to fit into the rigid box of what a healthy and successful and productive person looks like. Because I think your version of healthy and successful and productive, it doesn't really look like many other people or what many other people are striving to be like, and that doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. So yes, make your own schedule, make your own structure, make your own routine. All right, so next we are going to see what you guys can do. And I mean, this was kind of it. So let's just leave it open for this part because this was going to be what you guys should do in a spiritual sense. And maybe we kind of covered that a little bit. So I'll leave it open of what you can do. I feel like that's very poetic because this whole reading is about not following a predetermined structure. And just because I was doing it like that for the other piles, it doesn't mean I have to do it like that for you guys. So I'm just going to leave it open and see what the light beings want to say. We have the Ace of Wands, and this was literally the card that I had left up at the beginning of the reading for you guys to choose. And I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be funny if it actually like appears in somebody's reading and then it appeared in yours? So we have the Ace of Wands and the King of Pentacles. This showed up for group 2 as well. Okay, so starting here with the Ace of Wands, yes, there is some breakthrough coming for you guys. Like I mentioned in the intro of this video, the Ace of Wands is a new exciting beginning, a new inspiration, a new spark coming into your life. And wands are all about intuition and instinct, like a gut feeling. So this makes a lot of sense for what we've talked about here and just what we've been talking about throughout this reading. I feel like for many of you guys, a good number of you guys watching this pile maybe haven't really quite figured out yet what your goals are or what it is that you want to pursue, or you're still trying to figure out how to go about them, like how they would be possible. I feel like you guys are waiting on some answers and there's some level of uncertainty for how you should act or how things will play out. And I'm being shown so strongly, like I was already getting that feeling here, but now that I'm being shown this Ace of Wands, I feel really strongly that it's going to be some very clear and very strong intuitive hit for you guys. Because this is an instinct, a spark, a gut feeling, an idea, an inspiration to create something. That's what the Ace of Wands is. So it's going to be like a light bulb moment for you guys of what it is that you're meant to do, what it is that you're meant to create. It's funny because I often interpret this card as like you are connected to your higher self or you're connected to a higher being and you're channeling some idea from them. I really feel that higher beings are going to be creating through you guys. And it is kind of like they're using you. And I know that has like a negative connotation as humans, but you're being like a channel so that the higher beings can work through you on this earth. If you will have them, of course. They cannot force you, but they would like to come in and channel through you and help you achieve your goals as well. And so if your breakthrough hasn't come yet, if your idea hasn't come yet, it's because these light beings, there's a very specific time and climate. Okay, are we going to use the word climate? There's a very specific climate that they would like to come through in. Are they talking about maybe like a social climate or a political climate or something like that? You know, like a certain day and age and setting that they want to start moving and acting on Earth. So divine timing is really big for this. And they understand that that's tough because from your perspective, it's like, when are my dreams going to get off the ground? What am I doing wrong? But you are definitely part of something bigger, and they're waiting for the perfect climate, in their words. So they're going to come through, they're going to come and work through you. You may actually have some moments during this journey where you take some action, you create something, you put something out, and you don't even really know what you're doing, or you don't know why you're doing it. You just feel very strongly that you have to do it. I have a friend who channels paintings and drawings, and he will like sit there for hours drawing something and then step back and be like, what did I just draw? And there will be this code to decipher. He's like written out alphabets, he's written out messages in like different messages in different alphabets, and then has to like decipher what they're trying to say. And so it's coming from him, but he doesn't know what he's doing because there's something bigger working through him. And I feel like this is what the journey is going to be like for you guys. You will have ideas coming in through you of what to create, of what to do. And so what you're going through right now is accumulating the knowledge and experience necessary so that when this moment comes, you'll have like the framework so you know what to do. For example, I know nothing about medicine. So if these light beings had an idea of how to like create a breakthrough in medicine to save many people's lives, they're probably not going to channel that to me, because I'll be like, what the fuck is this? Like, I won't know what they're talking about. I won't even know like how to act on it. But somebody who has knowledge and experience in medicine, they will use them, because then they know how to explain the message that they got, or they know how to move forward with it, or they know the right people, or they have the right equipment so that they can go and act it out. So what you guys are doing now is you are gaining that knowledge, and you're gaining that experience, and you're gaining those connections, so that when you get this Ace of Wands moment, you have everything you need around you in the 3D to then go and act it out. And you have the vocabulary and the terminology necessary to explain your idea to other people. You have the knowledge of the industry. Does that make sense? So you guys are preparing for this moment right now. So be open to how and when it comes, understanding that it is part of a very big plan. I dare say for the planet. Like, this feels like very big scale stuff that we are working with. With the King of Pentacles here, I'm feeling a kind of similar interpretation to how I saw it in pile 2. Meaning that this is likely something that you've been working on for many lifetimes, and now I'm realizing that you are probably one of these guys who volunteered to like go down for many lifetimes and keep working on this thing. So you're like picking up from previous lifetimes. It looks like this is another confirmation for me that you guys are going to be very abundant from what you're doing, because the King of Pentacles is a huge sign of long-term prosperity and wealth. And again, this is in the material sense as well as in the sense of emotional and spiritual fulfillment. And the King of Pentacles also talks about being secure and very sure of yourself in the world. So you guys will definitely have the feeling of, I am meant to be doing this. I was born for this. Like, this is my calling. This is my purpose. You will feel like that doing what you're doing, rather than like, this is what I settled for, or this is what I just happened to end up doing. It's going to feel very planned and very fated, because it is. And so you feel very in place, and you feel a sense of belonging in the industry that you're in. Also, if you guys, well, actually, you will be wealthy enough to care for your loved ones, because you have these cups overflowing, and I'm thinking of the King of Pentacles as like a father or a provider kind of thing. So if you do already have family to take care of, whether that's your own descendants or even like parents, partner, other relatives, you will be able to care for them. And if you will choose to have descendants, like have a family of your own from now on, know that they will be very taken care of because of the abundance that you're creating. So to finish off the reading, let's see what your life will be like once you have achieved these goals, what your future holds for you. I want to be careful not to like knock the cards everywhere when it falls out. Like that. That wasn't so bad though. Ooh, there's Queen of Swords. And Queen of Swords and the Four of Pentacles. So I'm so happy to see the Four of Pentacles. You guys might know my own personal meaning for this card is that you are safe, you are protected, you're on the right path, you have higher beings protecting you. That's literally how I see this card, and that's what we've been seeing all throughout this reading. This card also talks about good financial decisions. It talks about like having, I'm thinking of the image where, like the traditional image where the guy is like standing on his coins and holding on to his coins. So it's like you have a lot of savings, or you have a lot to sustain you for a very long time. You have a stable foundation. And it's interesting how this person has like the stars all over their face. It looks like these light beings. It looks like the star in tarot, where it's like you have a very bright and promising future, and you may be doing something that is unique and that is unconventional, but that doesn't mean that you can't have like the traditional dream of being financially well off and having a nice home and having a nice savings account, having all the possessions you need. Just because your profession or whatever you're doing in the world might be a little bit different or out there, you can still have the same prosperity and solid foundation as people who may have chosen a more predictable path. You can still have that safety and security, is what I'm seeing from this. I do think that you guys will be living in a very, very nice home. If you do have a dream home, then I see you guys getting that. As for your lifestyle, I feel that you will have like a base, like a home where you spend most of your time, and then you might have like some place that you like to travel to, maybe even like, what is it called? Is it called, what is it called? A separate home. Not like a cottage, but you know, when people like are very well off and then they have their regular house and then they have their like, is it a vacation home? I think it's a vacation home. You might have something like that you like to travel to. But I do kind of see you guys staying in one place for most of the time. Maybe it's because you guys have a family there, or like you have a job that requires you to be in one place. But I'm thinking of like a solid base with this Four of Pentacles card. And again, a very, very good financial situation. With the Queen of Swords, I really do see you guys becoming a leader. You will definitely be communicating your vision. I feel like you'll be doing what you're doing, and then on top of that, you'll be going to speak about it. You'll be writing about it. So you're not just doing your thing, but you're telling the story of doing your thing. So you might be like a motivational speaker and go talk about your life story and the work that you're doing to large groups of people, or you might write a book about what you're doing, or you might be interviewed a lot. I'm feeling like you're communicating your ideas and you're sharing your story with this card. And I also feel like you will be known for your mind. You will be known for your intellect. You'll be known for your intelligence. You'll be known for your ideas. Like your mind is going to be the moneymaker rather than, I don't know, like your hands or your body or something. It's the mind. It's the things that your mind is giving birth to that you are known for. Yes. All right. Is that everything? Is that all I'm seeing for you guys? Yes, I think it is. Okay, so I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself. Stay healthy. I'm sending you lots of love, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 4s, so if you guys chose the Mystical Manga deck, this is going to be a reading all about where you should focus your energy in order to achieve your goals. Just before we get started, I did want to apologize in advance in case there's any strange background noise in this video. I am currently in quarantine at a hotel, so sometimes there are strange noises coming from other rooms or even within this room, so if anything like that happens, I'm sorry for that. So I want to start off this reading with a few oracle cards, and these are going to be messages from your spirit guides with regards to the nature of your goals, where you're at in terms of your progress, and whatever advice they would like to give you to start off. So the first card that we have for you is Boundaries, Movement, and Move On. Wow, very similar meanings there. And throughout all three of these cards, there's this very strong energy of you guys walking away, letting go, moving on from something. Obviously, these are more literal, but on the Boundaries card, we can see this person is holding up their hand. It kind of looks like the stop gesture, and they even have the, I don't know what it's called, but like this is not allowed, or the no symbol on their hand. So there is something that you guys need to say no to and move away from in order to achieve your goals. So I'm guessing this is something that may take up a lot of your time or drain a lot of your energy. This could be anything from a soul-crushing job to a group or a community that you belong to. It could be commitments that you've said yes to, like certain activities you've agreed to engage in that take up a lot of your time, or committing to helping other people, helping everybody else before you give time to yourself. It could even be a habit that you guys have that is taking up a lot of your time, energy, or resources. For example, you might have a habit of consuming a lot of social media throughout the day that takes up a lot of your time. Or to use myself as an example, when I was in my early 20s, I went out and like drank and partied a lot and stuff like that. And so not only did I use a ton of my money on that, but I would be completely dead the next day. And so I couldn't do anything. I couldn't work. I had no motivation whatsoever. So it really took up like 2 days when I was doing that. And that was definitely stopping me from being productive and doing the things that I wanted to do. So it could be some addiction or some bad habit like that you guys need to move away from. But I think there's really something that is sucking up your energy here. And when I look at this boundaries card, above the hand that is saying to stop, there is an eye that has flames in it. I am thinking of this as like your third eye that is filled with passion. And I think that you guys intuitively, you have a good idea of what it is that you want to do and where you want to go. Like you have a vision of who you are meant to be, but there are some things that you need to say no to so that you can create space for that, so that you can create the time for that. Again, I'm seeing these movement and move on cards as something very literal. Some of you, there was a similar message in, I think it was group 1, but it may be necessary for you guys to have a change of scenery or a change of environment, whether that is like getting out of the household that you are currently in, or going to a new place for work, or even like moving far away, moving to a new place. Some of you guys need to get out of where you currently are because it's not like a healthy environment for you, or it's not one that really cultivates inspiration and productivity for you. And of course, it's really important to understand the importance of these things coming from within, but I think it would also be like disingenuous to discredit the effect that the environment and the people around us have on our internal state, if that makes sense. I feel like some of you guys really need a new environment, or to distance yourself from some people who are maybe even energy vampires or just eating up a lot of your time. And when I look at this move on card, it's interesting. The cards in this deck often remind me a lot of tarot cards. I don't know if that was like the creator's intention, but I'm reminded of the star here, and I'm also reminded of the Wheel of Fortune. And it's like the way this person is blowing, you know, like the winds of change, or like a change in the wind. There's this expression like that. And I'm seeing that when you guys make this change in your lifestyle, or make this change in your life, this is what is going to set the Wheel of Fortune into motion. The Wheel of Fortune represents when the universe starts to respond to us and starts to favor us. So when we take the first step and show the universe that we're ready, then the universe starts to move in our favor, and it starts to bring these synchronicities and serendipitous events into our life. So the first step for you guys is to make this change, to walk away from whatever you need to walk away from. Then the universe is going to be like roused from its sleep and respond to your action. And this wheel will start turning for you. And you can see what is inspiring this person to blow and start the wheel turning is the star. The star is all about hope for our future, believing that our future is bright. And so I feel like for some of you guys, if you have been stuck in this unfavorable or uninspiring situation for a long time, it could be that you guys need a little bit more hope that the future is bright. Like for an example, that you guys were stuck in a job that you guys didn't like. It wasn't fulfilling you. And you know intuitively that you should blow and cause the winds of change to blow and walk away. But if you don't have that star in you, that belief that your future is bright, that there's something bigger and better out there after this, maybe that would stop you from blowing, so to speak. Maybe that would stop you from making the change. And I'm just noticing, like, the magic wand on this movement card has the star on it as well. So what your spirit guides want to tell you is that your future is bright. But you need to believe this so that you have the courage and that you have the confidence to make this change. Walk away with that strong faith, knowing that you're walking towards something better. That's what is really, really important for you guys. So looking at the next oracle deck now, we're going to see if there are any other messages or advice that your spirit guides have for you. So this one says, find the root of the disorder or the misalignment in your heart and in your body. And this one says, stand firmly in the ground like a tree. And both of these cards are Buddhas that you got here. This is the healing Buddha and this is the immovable Buddha. So if I put these together, this is actually kind of giving me hermit vibes. Starting with this card is about looking within and finding the root of a problem. More specifically, finding the root of the disorder within you. So finding what is out of alignment within you and what needs to change. And this is what the Hermit is all about. It's about turning within. It's about doing that soul searching, assessing what is wrong and how you need to readjust your compass so that you can start going in a better direction. Maybe some of you guys who chose this group in your day-to-day life, you may feel very fatigued, or maybe you feel very anxious or even nervous throughout the day, even if there's not something specific that you can put your finger on of what is causing that. Just that feeling of always being like on edge, or that feeling of always being highly strung. You may feel irritable or frustrated at times, or just kind of restless. And this is because I feel that there's something in your lifestyle that is like out of alignment of what your soul really wants to be doing, what your soul really wants to be spending its time doing, and how they want to express themselves. So I think going within here, this is asking you, what do I continue to say yes to that is causing me pain? What do I continue to say yes to that is out of alignment? Maybe for some of you guys, this is going to be very obvious. Like, I continue to say yes to this and engage in this thing that is draining me, and this is what needs to change. For others of you, it might take a little bit more reflection of what is at the root of this sort of niggling feeling within you. But with this card, your guides are calling you to look within and find that. What is it that is draining your inspiration? What is it that is draining your motivation, draining your passion? It may help to look back on a time where you were very inspired and hopeful and felt really energized, and see like what has changed since then. What about your life is different? What are you doing now that you weren't doing before? Or what did you stop doing now that you were doing before? And see if you can figure out the root of the issue. I do feel like it will be one definitive thing, like, oh yes, I keep like saying yes to help these people and to spend time with these people when I really want to be taking care of myself. Or I keep just submitting to all of the orders of my boss even though I feel really overworked and tired. Or I keep spending all my free time on this habit that is not serving me. There will be some answer that comes to you in this way. And once you find what is out of alignment, this immovable Buddha card says to stand firmly in the ground like a tree. So when you figure out what is out of alignment, trust that. This also gives me hermit vibes because it's about conviction. It's about believing in your own inner compass and marching to the beat of your own drum and not what others are saying or doing. So once you figure out what you need to do, go with that, because the answer can only come from within you. And maybe this card is appearing because some people might, disagree with the conclusion that you come to. I remember oh my gosh, I don't even know how long ago it was, but I came to the conclusion that I needed to quit a job, or that I wanted to quit. And I told my friend about it, and they said, well, oh, but I don't think you need to quit right now. Like, I think what you have going on is pretty good. Like, trying to negate the conclusion that I had come to within myself, by myself. Of course, I think most people who do this, they mean well, and they're just looking out for us, but it's really, really important that you trust your own judgment here. So if you come to the conclusion that you need to stop doing something, and there's people in your life who say like, oh, but I thought you loved that, oh, but you're so good at that, or even would like try to make you feel guilty, or feel like your conclusion is not sensible, like you have to keep doing this so you can have a secure future, be aware of anybody who is trying to steer you away from your inner compass, because what I'm seeing here is that your inner compass is extremely accurate. In fact, I feel like many of you may already know what this is about and what you need to move on from. Maybe you're just waiting for that sign or that extra like final push to get you in that direction, but this is it. It is time to move. It is time to move on from something. It is time to change your environment or change your habits and rid your life of whatever has been sucking up your energy. Your energy is yours. It belongs to you. And you don't have to give it away to things or to people that you don't want to give it away to. A lot of us, I think, have learned, just going through life, that that's something that we have to do. We just have to suck it up and give of ourselves, just so that we can survive and have security. But this is not true, and your guides want you to discover this. So this concludes the oracle card part of the reading. So we're going to get into the tarot now. First, I want to see what concrete actions you guys can take. So what you can do in the 3D in order to realize your goals. And then I want to see what you guys can do from a more spiritual sense. All right, what can group 4 do? What actions can they take in the 3D to move towards their goals? So this card fell out really, really quickly, and it's the Ace of Cups. This is so sweet. This is a card of self-love. So this is literally saying to prioritize yourself and prioritize what you love. This is a new beginning that emotionally fulfills you. This is a new start in your life where you're doing things that you love, where you're being gentle with yourself and caring for yourself. I feel like you guys have drained out a lot of your energy to others, to meet others' needs, to fulfill other people's dreams. Whether you just felt by yourself that you needed to do that, or they were asking that of you. I do feel that some of you may have dealt with some energy vampires in your life, but this card, it's all about bringing it back to yourself. It's all about filling your own cup. Prioritizing yourself, it's like, it's the first step before we can go anywhere else. Some of you guys may want to disconnect for a while and take a vacation. Just get out of what you're doing, take some time off, take some time to reflect and rest. Ooh. And what's the other one that we have? Ooh, the Magician. You have 2 ones here. You have the Ace here, and then you have the 1. This might be a significant number for you guys, 1111, to let you know that you are on the right path. And both of these cards are calling for a new start in your life. The Magician creates the life that he wants with his own will and with his own action. So it's a very empowered card. The Magician feels like anything is possible, and he feels like he can do anything. Maybe you guys have felt for some time like your life is at the hands of others, or like at the hands of fate, and haven't really felt a lot of like agency or freedom to do what you want. And this energy is about coming back and empowering yourself and remembering that you can do whatever you want. You can create any life that you want. There could be emphasis with these ones here about like taking the first step. I feel like a lot of you guys, and I mentioned this before, I feel like many of you guys know what you need to do, but taking that first step is so hard. Like letting go, closing that chapter and stepping into the unknown is so hard. And so these cards are your guides saying, take that first step. We have a double 1 here. Start the new chapter. You are ready You're ready to close this cycle. You don't have to keep giving your energy to things you don't want to any longer. This is like your permission to let go. This is your permission to prioritize yourself. This is your permission to do everything you can and to give it your all. When the Magician appears, it means you're ready and you have everything that it takes. The Magician has the wand, the Magician has a cup, the pentacle, and the sword. These are, of course, the four suits of tarot, but this means that you're on the right track in terms of your intuition. You're on the right track in terms of the knowledge that you need, the information that you need. You have the resources that you need, and you have the courage and the creativity. You have the whole package. You have everything you need. You just need to give the universe the okay. You just need to blow this wind, and that's when the wheel is going to start turning. And I feel like once you guys take this first step, you will get a response from the universe very, very quickly, that the universe is on your side. You don't need to know what the whole journey looks like. You don't even really need to know where specifically to start, because wherever you start, the universe will find you. So your guides are just saying, take the first step, even if you don't feel ready. Remember, the card before the Magician, before 1, is 0. It's the Fool. So the Fool takes that blind leap of faith off the cliff and becomes the Magician on his way down. On his way down the cliff, he figures out what he needs to do, and he gets everything that he needs to get, and he finds his strength and courage. So you may not feel like this Magician yet, but once you take that leap off of the cliff, you will become the Magician. And the Wheel of Fortune, it's funny that I see this as the Wheel of Fortune, because that's also a number 1, because it's the number 10 card, which reduces to 1. You are being matched in your new beginning. When you take this new start, the universe will match you, and it will bring you new opportunities. It will bring you new blessings. You don't need to know what this journey looks like or how or where to do it. You just need to take the first step, and the universe will rush over and show you the way. But they just need to know that you are ready. And again, with the Ace of Cups, there's this emphasis of like, you're doing this for yourself, and you're not doing this for anybody else. And that means that other people don't need to get it. Other people don't need to approve. And this might be very, very scary if you guys have like lived your life as a people pleaser or like trying to make everybody proud, because this is 100% by you and for you. A lot of you guys will find your independence and find your personal power as you go towards these goals. And it's almost like this thrill and this feeling of joy of putting yourself first and starting, it almost feels as joyous as if you had already accomplished the goals, if that makes sense. You're like, I already feel so happy, and I already feel like I have everything because I loved myself enough to go for it, and like I honored my passion enough to go for it. That feeling is like you already won. I hope that that makes sense. Okay, so now let's take a look and see, what do you guys need to do from a more spiritual perspective to move towards your goals? Look at this. Wheel of Fortune. You see? 1, 1, 1. I'm going to take this as a 1 because I've been reading it as the Wheel of Fortune. Wow. Yeah. Oh, and isn't this cool? The snake that is on the wheel, it looks a lot like this movement. And that was actually a symbol that was coming up a lot in, I forget which pile it was already, but snakes could be a symbol for you guys that you're on the right path. You also might see elephants or lotus flower. This is a sign of purity because the lotus flower grows up through the mud, and when it comes out from under the mud, it's like completely clean. So it's like no matter what crap you guys have gone through, or no matter how dark times have been, you can still blossom and be completely clean and new. The idea of purity is that, well, my idea of purity and what I've learned from reading guidebooks and stuff is that you can always start fresh. Like, your past cannot tarnish you. You always have a chance to have a clean slate. Yeah, the Wheel of Fortune means definitely that the universe is responding to your actions. When it comes to the Wheel of Fortune, I do think of something that is kind of unpredictable or serendipitous. So that kind of adds to the idea of you guys don't really have to know how this is going to play out. You just have to take one step, and then you'll start to get a lot of synchronicities, a lot of serendipitous events. And it will be like a chain reaction where you get exactly to where you need to go. It's almost as if, imagine like you guys are a surfer and there's a big wave coming from the universe and you just have to catch the wave. So all you need to do is stand up on your board. That's like your first step, is standing up on your surfboard. You're showing the universe, I'm ready for this wave to come. I'm not going to let it pass me by. I'm going to get on this one. You get up, you stand on your board, and then the universe just comes in whoosh, and carries you all the way to your destination. You're going to be in good hands. You're going to be taken care of. I guess my advice for you guys would be, along your journey to achieving your goals, like if anything happens and you're like, whoa, that's such a coincidence, look into it, explore it more. I feel like I want to give an example. Let's say you're at a restaurant and you're sitting there and you're complaining to your friend about how your job sucks and you wish you had a job more like XYZ. And then there's like somebody at the table behind you and they're like, were you just talking about XYZ? And they're like, oh, my friend owns that company, the XYZ company. I hope you guys know what I mean. It's like, what are the chances that this person sitting right next to me has connections in the super specific thing that I was talking about? When those weird coincidences, well, they're not coincidences, but those, what are the odds of that happening? Moments happen, don't ignore them. That's your advice. So first, be open to receiving those serendipitous moments, and when they do happen, trust that it's for a reason. Trust them and go with them. Say yes to them. Even if it feels kind of weird, go for it. That's what the Wheel of Fortune is saying. And one more. It's the Four of Pentacles. This came out, there's actually been quite a few like parallels in the tarot cards today between the piles, I feel. But this came out in pile 3, I believe. And it's funny because you guys might know, like, I'm always seeing 1s and 4s together. Like if I see 1111 or if I see repeating 1s, then I see 4s too. Or if I see a bunch of 4s, then a 1 comes out after. This happens a lot when I'm doing readings. So this is funny to me that we got so many 1s and then a 4 comes out. But yes, the Four of Pentacles, it's interesting too because for me it is a very divinely guided and divinely supported card. Having the number 4 on it, this means that you are protected. This means that you're on the right path, that everything is happening for a reason, including the cycle that you guys have been in before. Even if this cycle has been tough or unpleasant, there was a reason for it. So remember that nothing has been wasted, nothing has gone wrong. This cycle of your life and the situations and the people you were faced with here, they were there to teach you something. They were there to make you stronger. So there's no need to resent them. There's no need to feel like you're behind schedule or that, you should have changed things sooner or anything like that. Everything is happening and everything will happen exactly as it should because you are being closely watched over by angels, by guardian angels, and they're always making sure that you're in the right place at the right time and that no matter what, you're going to be safe. But the number 4 is also about cycles, and this is at the bottom of the deck. Death, which is also about cycles, and this is the number 4 because 13 reduces to 4. So yeah, 1s and 4s coming out together all the time. I'm just gonna put him here. Yeah, the number 4 is about cycles, and if you think of like the 4 seasons, for example, one season ending is synonymous with a new season beginning. When winter is ending, it inherently means that spring is beginning. When spring is ending, it inherently means that summer is beginning. So yes, there is a cycle that is ending here, but I feel like maybe you guys are afraid of ending the cycle and then being in a limbo where like this has ended but nothing new is starting. And it's not like that. When you end this cycle, it's a law. It's the natural order of things. A new cycle must begin in its place, and it must be a level up. It must be better. This is where you're being guided to. So the Death card, and I would even say this Four of Pentacles, it's saying like it's time to let go. Like this cycle has run its course in your life, and it's time to welcome the new with all of these ones here. I know this is like the spiritual part of the reading, but for advice of what you guys should do, the Four of Pentacles can also be advice for like saving your money, because there might be some expense that you guys come up with, like some investment that you have to make in order to work towards your goals, or there might be a period where things are a little bit slow for you as you get things started, and it will be good to have some money put aside. Okay, so finally, there's also a message about making more time for yourself and making more time to be at home, like uninterrupted time at home. Maybe you want to like turn your phone off, you're not going to answer to anybody, and this is me time. I'm going to focus on my work, I'm going to focus on what I want to do. And maybe having an environment that is more like inviting for you in your home, or more soothing, like getting some really nice candles, or getting a diffuser in your room, or a humidifier, or having some like ambient sounds like white noise or something. Invest in your space so that you can feel more comfortable and feel more motivated and focused. Okay, so finally we're gonna see what is your life going to look like in the future when you have achieved these goals. There is the Knight of Swords. Yeah, so things are going to pick up really, really fast for you. This is what I was feeling. Once you catch that wave, it's like you're just riding it out. The Knight of Swords is things moving very, very quickly. So I do sense like, what would it be called? Like an exponential growth for you guys, or like a surge in your success once you get on that wave. The Knight of Swords does have this message of like, things are moving fast, so we also have to think very fast and think about what we want to do. You may be like thinking what your next step is and like making decisions on the fly, and it's all happening so fast. I feel like there will be a period where you look back and you're like, oh my god, like all of this happened in the span of 2 or 3 months. Like what the heck happened? So there's, yeah, this feels like a more of a blowing up kind of moment for you guys. And it's funny, there have been some parallels in the readings, but they've also been quite unique in their own way. But yeah, for you guys, this is like fast growth, feels very sudden, and it all starts from blowing this wind of change. It all starts from you guys taking your first step. There may also be, sometimes I feel with the Knight of Swords, like people coming back with a lot to say. So kind of what we saw earlier here, where you guys are figuring out what's not working for you and what you need to do to change it. And you have to stand firmly in that, because there may be some people who, I don't think it's anyone really forcefully trying to oppose you, but maybe implying or flat out saying like they don't think it's a good idea, or maybe challenging your decision. So this could be, if I go with the interpretation I often see of like someone coming back with a lot to say, it could be somebody coming back to say like, you were right. You were right, I was wrong, you really did it. Something like that. And that could be kind of satisfying for you guys. For some of you, There may even be like an ex coming back into your life, maybe unwanted for some of you, or maybe not. But it's like, you know, you break up with someone and now you're doing really well and they see you doing well and all of a sudden they want a piece of the pie again. It's like that kind of energy. And it's like, where have you been all this time? Why you want to talk to me now all of a sudden? Okay, let's get one more for you guys. Ooh, this is the Eight of Pentacles. You guys are going to be very, very hardworking, very motivated, very dedicated to what you do. This shows somebody with incredible work ethic, but I think just based on what we have seen throughout this reading, this work ethic is coming from you guys loving what you're doing. Some of you, maybe this is not for everybody, but there may be some of you who have like lived up until this point thinking that you're lazy, or thinking that you're not productive, or thinking that you can't focus, or that you don't like work, or something like that. And it's just because of the environment you've been in. It's just because of the nature of the work you've been doing. What I see with this Eight of Pentacles is once you guys switch to something that you like, all of a sudden you're so productive. All of a sudden you can focus for hours and hours. All of a sudden you can do all this work without getting tired or bored or feeling like deflated. And it's like, for some of you, it may actually feel like a 180. Like, I didn't even know I had these qualities in me, but it was because you needed the right environment and the right support to bring it out. So your work ethic is increasing because you get so much joy from the work that you're doing. You guys will be perfecting your craft for sure, because the Eight of Pentacles does have this message of like refining what you're doing, really, really perfecting your skill. I do feel like you guys will become an expert, and I would even say like one of the best at what you do, with a very high reputation. And there's also a message of like repetition in this card, because, well, maybe this imagery is a little bit different, but in the traditional artwork we see the guy is like sitting down and he's working away at a pentacle like over and over again. Like he's worked on so many of them. So you might be doing the same thing for a very long time before you move on to the next goal, before you move on to the next chapter. Because you're like, you know what, I like this. I think I'm going to keep doing this for as long as I can. I'm going to like milk this and enjoy my success as long as I can before you're on to the next adventure, whenever that might be. But you're very dedicated, you're very committed, and it looks like you're really, really enjoying what you're doing. Looking at this image, and I don't know if I've ever like felt the need to mention it when I look at this card before, but there's something about like bookkeeping coming through here, because he has this book open and it looks like maybe he's like making a note in it. So I don't know what this is. Like, maybe keep track of your expenses if you have any, or maybe keep track of your progress. Like if you're working towards mastering a skill, so that if you ever feel like, oh, I'm not making progress, you can look back and see how far you come and be like, oh wow, a month ago I couldn't do that. I guess I have come really far. Maybe keep like a journal, or keep a log of your accomplishments, and oh, I finally mastered this skill today, I finally passed this level today, so that you can look back and see just how far you've progressed. And also things like expenses and the money you're making and receipts and things like that. Keep track of them. Maybe like keep your emails, or if you're doing anything like digitally, maybe have like a backup drive of the things that you make so that you don't lose them. Anyway, I think you guys know what I mean. There's like guidance here to keep a record or keep a backup so that you can, stay on track of what you're doing. Yes? All right, so those are all the messages I have for you, so I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. I'm sending you lots of love, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. I just want to mention, I feel like a lot of pressure in my head on the left side. I don't know if you guys ever feel that. It could be someone is trying to come in to communicate with you, but I feel this pressure in my head. Anyway, so that's all for now. Bye guys.